Boys and Girls
clubs and learn to do all sorts of interesting things. So it's been a great learning experience for our families and great fun for us. And the trip gets more wearing as we get older. And Blair, but
Sure.
it's a long way. But it's been great. And Karen has been, as Jerry mentioned, has sort of picked up the cudgel of organizing. She's done a really marvelous job, and now Jean has taken over the food, which is another huge thing that Jerry
Susan.
not Jean, and Susan's taken that over, and that's been another load off of Jerry. So,
Jerry, why was returning the reunion to Chautauqua so important to you?
Well, this is my family. Even though I'm a married-in member of the family, I don't feel like a married-in member of the family. I feel like a bloodline member of the family. And this is a bloodline experience for me, and something that I have to say my second and third wives have taken a little while to have the blood commingle, but it's now happening. I don't know if you noticed what Adriana wrote in your card last night, but even she's enthusiastic about coming to Chautauqua. So it's a central part of our family, and spending a week with people we love, getting to know their children and their grandchildren. How else would we ever do that?
It's a special place. I think that's a good note to end it on, don't you think? Chautauqua is a very special place.
I'm Grant Glover, and my grandpa is Papa. I have a lot of memories with him because we live really close to each other, and probably one of the most fond memories is on Friday nights we would go over to his house and have hamburgers, and only till later in life I realized it was a little funny we ate hamburgers without hamburger buns, but and we use loaves of bread. But I remember those nights and talking to him and hearing his stories, and getting to know Mama and them sometimes picking me up from school. And so that's where I know him, probably best and have fondest memories, was just going over to his house all the time, or staying there and living with him for 2 years. I don't fully remember it, but I know him and that house really well because of it. And, that's probably what I remember most is 6515. So even though Uncle Jerry and Uncle Blair aren't my grandpa, but I still remember with Jerry always going out to Vermont and skiing, and the wonderful breakfasts he'd make, and the dinner and the hospitality. I think coming to Chautauqua and playing a game of hearts, and I just, over the years, getting to know him in that way, and what a great host he was. It was really special to get to meet him and know him and talk to him about the things he's done. And then Uncle Blair, similarly, he's probably one of the three that I see the least, but I remember I was really young and I went over to his house, and I call a pool, and my brother and him, and we were just running around and playing in the pool. But I remember talking to him and then getting to know him over the years through Chautauqua. It's kind of cool getting to know family that you've always had but never really knew.
Hi, I'm Paula Leroy, Blair's daughter, and Chautauqua at first was a little bit of a forced march when we were really young, and then it became a very, very special place. I have so many memories, especially of the Chautauqua Inn and Great Aunt Bernice, who always just welcomed you with this bigness that she was, big personality, always made you feel special. And Chautauqua Inn was this very magical place. It had this box of toys that had a trumpet in it, but of course we couldn't make noise until 10 in the morning, which is excruciatingly painful for children, but we would wait, and then we get to play the trumpet. And also at the Chautauqua Inn were these little boxes of cereal that you cut open, you open the flaps and you pour your milk in, and they were things like sugar pops and Cocoa Puffs and Lucky Stars, all these things that we didn't get to have at home. Okay, a little more on the sugar here. We also got to go to the penny candy store with our little dimes and nickels and get all kinds of those root beer things. I loved going up and down all those stairs, the 3 floors, and the porches that all leaned, and the clubfoot bathtubs, and the wiring that you could see everywhere. It was just like this really enchanting place. You just felt you'd gone back 100 years. So it's wonderful that we're back at Chautauqua and that magic is there in these other Victorian houses that Karen has organized for us. I want to say about my dad, Blair, Chautauqua almost encapsulates all these things that you've brought to my life. The intellectualism, the classiness, the exchange of ideas, the love of the water and sailing, of course tennis, biking, all these athletic pursuits, the enjoyment of conversation, and of course, just a great family that sometimes includes Leroy's too, like Margot and Nikki. Jerry, you're just fun, and as everyone said, your laugh. I always love our lively debates, although politically we're getting a little closer in the middle, and so they're not quite as lively anymore. You're being such a great host, and I love how your family has continued to be such a unit, even as it's grown. Uncle Wayne, you've been amazingly generous with all of us. You kept the family reunion going with the Masco Lodge at Metamora, at Brush Creek. You took care of my mom and Grandma. You always made sure everybody was taken care of, but in a very low-key way. And then your sort of fun sporting things, your fishing and the boating and your big laugh, and also so many of these great other events we've gone to, weddings at the country club in Michigan. I guess I'm going on, but I really appreciate how much you've kept our family going. I appreciate you all that we're back at Chautauqua and that we keep having fun, and as Krista said, it keeps getting better and better.
Something else you wanted to ask, Lee?
Well, so bit risky. So just one, maybe kind of a light note to end things on. Present company excluded, of course. Any stories about your children at Chautauqua that you'd like to share, or that you want to make sure that your grandchildren either do or perhaps don't do while they're here at Chautauqua?
Well, I can say one thing about present company excluded, of course, but I didn't know till many years later, after my children had reached their 30s or so, that there were many escape routes from the Chautauqua Inn that we did not know about. Various fire escapes were used, various other means of getting out of the house at night to join a few boys on the lake in their boats with a beer, getting down to Snugs. I never knew what
Snugs was a big deal.
And these stories keep coming out, and maybe more will keep coming out as as time goes on about the extracurricular activities of Chautauqua.
I would suggest that you're far better positioned to reveal some of these stories than we may be.
I think that's right. Reveal may be the operative word.
Well, Blair, Wayne, and Jerry, thank you for taking the time, and Paula, thank you for orchestrating this. This is really a neat means by which some of your experience and perspective can be passed down, not only to the kids that are here today, but to the generations to come. So thank you for that. Any final comments or thoughts that you'd like to share with the family?
I say just I hope that the ensuing generations will have the same feeling and spirit that we obviously do to maintain this tradition for time to come, long after, as Wayne says, we're on the other side of the sod, and that this will continue to go on.
I think one of the things that I would hope for, and we've actually done this, we've tried to accomplish this over many years, not just at Chautauqua, but for instance, Blair and my families used to exchange summer visits every year, one and the other, going back and forth, with the objective of making sure our children became good pals with the children of the other family. And Jerry, similarly. So my hope is that these experiences cause folks to get together from Boston and, and Detroit and wherever, and that they, after we're long gone, continue to be good pals. And I think if you have enough of this kind of thing, it'll continue the next generation, and hopefully then the Brodies and the Camerons and the next little crowd will become pals as well. And that's, after all, blood is thicker than water, and we're probably going to be in for some very tough economic times. I think Blair and Jerry and I have seen the best of the economic times, perhaps, in this country. So it's going to be tougher and tougher for the next generation and then the generation after that to have the means to facilitate a Chautauqua experience and so forth. But if the bonds are strong from the time they were youths, and hopefully one way or another, Paul has come all the way from California. I mean, what a monumental task that is, to come all that way with 2 children just for a week. It's expensive and it's a tough deal. So if the bonds are strong enough, hopefully that next generation will perpetuate it, and whether it's Chautauqua or just being naturally close, it's always a good thing.
Whether it's Chautauqua, whether it's Metamora, whether it's Brush Creek, or whether it's back to Chautauqua, you made sure that this tradition continued even in those years when we were not doing Chautauqua at Chautauqua.
Oh yeah, I was able to lucky to be able to facilitate that, and the kids got some broader experiences,
Absolutely.
riding horses and shooting
Absolutely.
guns and whatever else. Anyhow, I think we've kept the audience over long.
Well, thank you very much for sharing your experiences. Very, very,
Well,
very
thank
much
you,
appreciated.
Paul, and thank you, Lee.
Thank you, Lee.